This is episode 2 of Reading with Richard, and today we're going to talk about Living Fearless. This is one of the most influential books I have read, and it is the third most influential book that I have in my collection. Outside of the Bible and another book called Experiencing God, it had the third most impact on my relationship with Christ, and I will be going over the topic of the book and just some stuff that I have learned and observed. In this book, it is really about building the foundation of your pursuit to your true identity and letting go of your false identity. Most of us live in their false identity because we keep listening and accepting the lies that have been told to us since the beginning of our lives, such as you are unworthy, you can't achieve that, you are not beautiful, those things. But there is an identity that God has given you the moment that He created you, and the book is trying to help you to figure out what these lies are, how to let go of them, how to figure actually out what your identity is, and helping you to get into a position is it there are better words, but it's the only word I can really think about. In a state, I think it's better, where you constantly pursue this true identity. And something that I want to tell you before actually picking up the book is get yourself a journal and think about getting the audio version. I really enjoyed switching back and forth between the book and the audiobook. It just allowed me to read the book faster, and especially for certain areas, such as when the author is praying for you, it just made things easier because you could listen to the prayer and write down whatever you're sensing. And the only reason why you really need the journal is because you're gonna be simply writing down a lot and you want to prevent information overload. The book is split up into 6 parts: a preface, an introduction called Abiding, and 4 main parts. Part 1 is attention, then comes awareness, annunciation, and action. The preface as well as the introduction are simply a little bit about the stuff that awaits you as you are going to read this book and about the story of the author. The first 2 parts of the book focus on figuring out what lies you believe in and just writing that stuff down. He also tells you that the amount of lies that you write down don't really matter, whether you write down 1,000,000 lies or only 100. It's really about just getting you started, and it is a lifelong pursuit. You're gonna walk with Christ on a daily basis and try to be more like Him on a daily basis. And it's the same case with your true identity. It is on a daily basis trying to figure out what lies you believe in, giving them to Christ, and accepting more of your true identity and getting shaped by that truth. The third part is really just about speaking it into existence. At least that's what it felt like for me. And the last part is really about taking action the right way and asking the right questions. One of the two questions that got repeated the most are, God, what do you want me to know? And God, what do you want me to do? And he uses this question every time when you are about to receive some piece of information from God about yourself, about Him, about your identity, and finding or just acting on it, doing the right thing. What I really loved about this book in general was the writing style, because the author switches between them, which makes it a really refreshing read. So you have one writing style that feels like a novel because he likes to explain the concept on the book based on David from the Bible, and he doesn't tell the story based on the scriptures, at least not all of the time, but often through David's eyes and how he probably saw things, like how you see things in the real world, like this, and something that is more rational, like a textbook from school. What make this book unique is the infinite rereadability, because there are always new lies that you are going to discover, and more about your true identity, and your like lessons about yourself. And the last thing is that God is infinite and that there's always new things to learn about, which gives you, just that fact is the reason why you can read this over and over again and always learn something new. Another thing, it is something that makes your flesh uncomfortable or scared. And that's a good thing, at least in my eyes. A reminder that I like to give myself on a daily basis is whenever I sense my flesh being afraid or in a state of discomfort, I directly act on that, because I know that the result of acting on that will be me being closer to Christ. To finish things off, I found an answer to a question that I had, and that most of us probably have, which is, why are people so courageous? Why there are people that can do all these mighty acts, approaching strangers, preaching Christ boldly without being afraid of the opinions of others? And that is simply that they understand what their identity is and who they are rooted in, which causes them to actually receive this strength from Christ to do all these things. And that's really the only difference. And they understand that what other people say don't define them. They understand that without Jesus they are nothing, and by abiding in him and his true and in their true identity, they receive the strength from him to do all these things. And whenever they get confronted with other people, they first go to Jesus and ask them, hey, what do you think about what I'm doing? And they don't seek after this approval from others. It is something that he explains in part 4 called Action. I don't know where, either at the beginning or at the end, but it was something that really stood out to me. This is the end of episode 2. I hope that this was helpful, and as always, that's all that I have for today, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.